This video is brought to you by
absolutely fucking nobody!
We're ready. Here's the pitch. Fastball hit the left field deep. Kingsale back at the track. He's at the wall. It is gone! It's a grand slam.
Weird ass shit.
Cycle for Miguel Tejada.
It's a cycle. Going like Bobby, end up like Michael. I guess that is just a vicious cycle. Going like Bobby, end up like Michael. See what I'm saying? Look. It's a cycle.
The Cycle has built up this strange reputation as the dumbass little brother of the no-hitter.
Little looper, he's got it! Rosario has hit for the Cycle. And he wants that baseball, you bet.
Okay, it's not fair to call the Cycle that, but I do feel like the general baseball audience has to be reminded that it is cool. It doesn't get put up on as high of a pedestal for whatever reason, even though its frequency is on par with the no-no. At the time of this recording, they've both been done a little over 300 times, with the Cycle being just a shade more common. However, with no-hitters happening faster now than Carlos Beltran's tenure as the Mets manager, you never know. Generally, it sounds way cooler to say that you attended a no-hitter rather than a game with a Cycle, and I don't know why that is. To me, the Cycle is much more random and silly than a no-hitter could ever be. Then again, we have had some weird no-hitters as of recent.
A no-hitter in the bounce. Dodge checks swing, it gets away! Here comes Stanton! It's a no-hitter! Henderson Alvarez! Miami wins it! One of the strangest finishes you'll ever see!
But I digress. There is no denying the sporadic nature of the Cycle. And that's what we're going to talk about here today.
It's like a cycle. Heard he's selling out. He gotta whip a house. I guess it's just a vicious cycle. Going like Bobby, end up like Michael.
Kinsler sends it to right center field. What do you think? Heading all the way back there. Can he get that triple?
I guess that is just a vicious cycle.
Ranger to hit for the Cycle is Ian Kinsler.
It's not an easy accomplishment. On average, it happens about 2 to 3 times per season, and there's always a ton of moving bits and pieces to make it happen. In my last video, we discussed what might be considered a perfect game for a batter and came up with a multitude of equivalences. If you're one of the 10 people who watched that, then you may have noticed that I purposefully omitted cycles. One, because it's a fairly obvious parallel to the no-hitter, and most people know that, so it seemed too clear to point out. And 2, because the Cycle is such a wacky can of corn itself that it almost warrants a whole video.
Canna into right field. That's can of corn. Out of here. Into the bleachers for one by catch. And it's 2-0.
Altuve, a triple away from the Cycle.
Oh, you. Hear ye, hear ye.
In the gap to left center field. He got things on his horse. Here's Altuve. He trips around second base and he has to hold up there.
You all right?
He was going for 3.
Oh, that is hilarious.
The single and double are often considered to be the easiest to check off, but the triple is the notorious leg that lives in a lot of baseball players' nightmares, because it's the one thing that kept them from making history.
This ball is over the head of Nava. It's going to rattle around. Cruz has got a shot at the Cycle, and why not try for it? Throw to third is in time for the out, and there's no Cycle tonight for Nelson Cruz.
It is often referred to as the hardest part of the Cycle.
Into right center field, pretty well hit. Demirid on the move, diving attempt. That's down for a hit. Chirinos is going to head for third. He needs a triple for the cycle, and he is out to end the game.
While wheels may certainly help, the triple isn't just reserved for fast players. I know it seems difficult, but with an undying commitment to reach third base and the right ball placement, you can make it happen, especially if you have a girlfriend.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Many notorious base path turtles like Pablo Sandoval or Benji Molina have had to turn on the burners to complete a cycle, making these one of the more unlikely ones in recent memory.
Anderson sliding in to make it 5-4. There goes Benji again to center field. Now, could this be a triple? Come on, Benji, get going, kiddo. You got the cycle, big guy. Get there, get there. He did it.
Ballpark does play a factor. If you're somebody who doesn't run well, you have to hit it in the right spot. And last but not least, the home run. It could be challenging if you're someone who doesn't hit for much power. There is a small loophole though, and don't tell anyone I told you this, but inside the Parkers do count. Unfortunately, they're not that easy to hit anymore. In order to find the last instance of an inside the Parker being included in a cycle, we'll have to go back to a time where a series of brief international conflicts led to global leaders getting together and reenacting the events of Call of Duty 5. This would become what is now called World War II, otherwise known as WWE Super Slam 1943. For those of you who don't know your history and have no idea what I'm talking about, just imagine the gnarliest benches clearing brawl possible at the All-Star Game. For a second time. With heavier beef. Anyways, yeah, my point is that 1943 was the last time that an inside the park home run mattered in a cycle. And that was back when the fucking ballparks were built like a landing strip in an airport. This was the stadium. The last cycle with an inside the park home run was hit in. The old horseshoe looking ass Cleveland Municipal Stadium. You may notice that the field looks more like a donut than a diamond, and it's because the center field wall is 470 feet away from home plate. Someone better call Mike Tyson, because a gap like that can be deadly. If you've ever played Polo Grounds in the show, you know what I'm talking about. Every team has had a player hit for the cycle with the exception of the Miami Marlins, which is unfortunate, considering their abundance of hitting talent over the last few decades. Even worse, Christian Yelich became just the 5th player in Major League history to cycle twice in one season. This was, of course, the season right after the Marlins traded him. I guess he was just waiting to get it out of his system or something. It's only a matter of time before this section of the video becomes obsolete and a Marlin does hit for one. I'm sure with my luck, all of this information will be outdated within a year. However, if you're watching this from way in the future and the Marlins still don't have a cycle despite their young core of hitters coming through the woodwork, and that's kind of funny. Back to Yelich though, cycling twice in one season is an exclusive club, and I do want to talk about it for 1 second. Another guy on this list, Aaron Hill, actually did it twice in 1 month back in June of 2012. Going for seconds in one season is insanely rare, but doing it over the span of your career isn't unheard of. Not many have gone back for thirds. One of the primary reasons I wanted to get this video out soon was because we are on the cusp of something that has never been done before. A couple of months ago, while he was still with the Nats, Trey Turner hit for the cycle. This was his 3rd time doing that in his 7th season as a major leaguer. Do you know who else has 3 cycles? Adrian Beltre, Babe Herman, Bob Musial, and John Riley. That's it. Do you know who has even more than that though?
Nobody!
Trademark on that pussy, trademark in my brand new bitch.
That's right. Trey Turner could very well become the first person to ever hit for 4 cycles. And I feel like that's all but guaranteed considering his age. Turner has the perfect profile to just become a cycle machine, and he needs to be protected at all costs. Trey Turner is consistently at or near the league leader in hits, so we know the singles are going to come easy. His slugging percentage has been at or above 500 in recent years, so we know that extra base hits won't be a problem, especially with his speed. Speaking of that, he's tied for the fastest sprint speed in all of Major League Baseball. This makes those pesky triples a light jog to third base. And let's not forget that he averages 15 to 20 long balls per season, so we know that he has the pop to get the homer done. So yeah, Turner is cycling at an unprecedented rate. He is flying up the career leaderboards with no sign of slowing down. Turner has the ability to rack these things up like Nolan Ryan did with no hitters, so we could easily have our hitting version of Ryan right here. Also, much like Ryan, I don't see age playing much of a factor here with Trey. If Dave Winfield could hit for one at 39, then Turner could probably do it at 40. He just has that kind of makeup as an athlete. Speaking of age, I know that I mentioned Adrian Beltre as one of the 5 guys to hit for 3 cycles, and the funny thing about him is that he actually hit for his 3 in what might be considered to be the back half of his career, where his speed was fleeting on a season-to-season basis. Only a true Hall of Famer could defy the odds and begin racking up career milestones that late in the game. All I'm saying is, if Beltre can do that, then Turner sure can too.
What's that? Someone's coming! You're getting closer. I just gotta act natural.
Now 7-3. First pitch swinging is Gary Matthews Jr. He hits it deep to center field, and that ball is gone, a home run, and it's the cycle for Gary Matthews Jr. On the first pitch of the 6th inning, it's a natural cycle.
Oh, that's real nice.
The natural cycle entails going from single to double to triple to home run in that order. This has happened 15 times, meaning that it is rarer than a perfect game. Even rarer than the natural cycle, though, is the reverse natural cycle, sometimes known as the unnatural cycle. As you might expect, that's when you work your way down from home run to single in order. This has only been done 10 times, making it so rare that it might even be considered raw.
It's raw!
Cleveland World Series icon and known Joe West table topper Rajai Davis was the last one to do this in 2016.
And Rajai Davis has hit for the cycle. And the fans here recognize it. They are giving Rajai Davis a big hand.
Just a handful of players have ended their cycle with a walk-off home run, which, in my opinion, is just the most epic way to do it. Funny enough, the only players who have done that this century are a pair of Rockies, Nolan Arenado and Carlos Gonzalez. Nobody has ever hit for the coveted home run cycle in the MLB. As you may have already learned from me, you have to be one special bastard to hit 4 home runs in one game, so much as lucky enough to have every conceivable RBI opportunity as well. More recently, in 2019, Arkansas Razorback Daniel Gibson became the first ever to record one of these. Somehow, we didn't get our first postseason cycle until 2018, when Brock Holt had one for Boston in an absolute clobbering of the Yankees. Rest assured, Yankee fans, I know this memory probably hurts, but you may be able to find some solace in the fact that this short porch homer came off of backup catcher Austin Romine and not a real pitcher. Don't get me wrong, this is a cycle, and it's the first postseason one. No one can take that away. I just don't want you saying that it is in most places other than this joke of a stadium. But you know what? Maybe that's a topic for another video.
Single, double, triple. Fuck you!
That's about all I have for today. If cycles have taught me anything, it's to embrace the absurd, random dice roll of life. Just makes those times when things happen to line up in your favor that much more special. You cannot appreciate the order in something as neat as a cycle without seeing some of the chaos first. I guess that's why they call it the life cycle. Of course there's predictable stuff like Mike Trout or Shohei Ohtani hitting for the cycle. That's to be expected. They're amazing. But there's something so beautiful about 2013 Astro and certified Randy Brandon Barnes hitting for the cycle and then going on to lose the game anyway. When these things happen, it just brings such warm joy to my cold little heart. What can you say? It's funny how cycles work. I have been Riley Wood. Thanks for watching.
Funny how cycles work, funny how cycles work. Swear I just know my word. Swear I just know my word. Funny how cycles work, funny how cycles work. Swear I just know my word. Swear I just know my word. Funny how cycles work. Funny how cycles work. Swear I just know my word. Swear I just know my word. Swear I just know my word. Funny how cycles work, funny.